Alrighty, hi kiddos. This is a video for if you are online or have a couple of absences for the Extraterrestrial Pangaea project. So on Google Classroom there are a couple of things. There is the rubric and the details for your instructions and what you are required to have for full marks. There's also a list breaking up the points so that you can see how much is worth the most and what you need to have in terms of all of the components for the map. So this is on Google Classroom under Extraterrestrial Pangaea project. Then there is also two examples online. There's one for a more realistic approach, which is going to be a little bit more difficult, and then there's one that's more cartoony, which I would suggest doing. So, and then there's also this step-by-step that I put online, and I'm going to go through this right now and make this world with you so that you understand what is expected of you, and so you can kind of see all the steps laid out. So, these are both online if you need a closer look at them, and then I'm going to start right now. So we're going to start at step number 1, which is choose a theme. So this could be a show, book, sports teams, game, cartoon, food, artist, etc. I like Zelda. Online you'll see that I had a space theme, and then I also had a Mario Kart theme. And so today we are going to be doing Zelda. You can choose ice cream, you could choose SpongeBob, you can choose all sorts of things as long as it is school appropriate. So if you feel like, oh, maybe I should ask Miss Tigert if this is appropriate, maybe don't do it if it's on the fence. So then we are going to come up with number 2. Come up with your supercontinent or Pangaea shape based on your theme. So I'm doing Zelda, so I chose, I can choose between the Zelda Breath of the Wild logo, or I could choose like the OG one. I decided to do the Breath of the Wild because that's the one I'm most familiar with. So then I need to make, it says 3 copies. This is for kiddos online or in person. You are only doing 2 copies because you won't need a puzzle piece, a puzzle copy. So you are just doing 1 for the supercontinent and 1 for individual continents, which I will show you here in just a second. So I decided to do the Breath of the Wild logo. And so what I need to do, what this is showing right here is my Pangaea continent. Although it doesn't look like one traditionally, what a world looks like, we're just going to pretend that this is the formation of our Pangaea, which is a supercontinent. We are going to be applying our understanding of continental drift, which is the theory that at some point all of our 7 continents were one large continent called Pangaea, and then over time those continents drifted apart roughly around 250 million years ago. So we've been slowly drifting ever since. We still are. So this is what we're going to be doing with our world. So we are creating our own based on our theme, and mine is Zelda. So what I need to decide here is how I'm going to break up this Pangaea into 6 different sections. I already did this in right here. I decided that this part of the Z is going to be 1, 2, 3. I'm going to split this in half, 4, 5, and then 6. You can do the same. So if you're doing SpongeBob, you can do his pants as 1. You can do half of his body as 1. You can do his eye as 1, etc., etc. You guys get the point. Then, what I am going to do is I need to color all of my 6 continents. So I would suggest, so you have your 2, I would suggest coloring them both exactly the same. But before we color, we need to make sure that we have our fossils, which if you guys read the notes and went through the PowerPoint, South America and Africa have the same fossils, but there's no way that freshwater reptile could have swam the hundreds of miles across the Atlantic Ocean. So at some point, that means that those 2 continents were together. So we're going to do the same for our Pangaea. And you have to come up with 4 fossils that are themed. So for mine, I chose a life heart, because that's what you use in Zelda. I have a remote bomb. I have a carrot seed, and then I also have a shrine, which is kind of cut off, but that's okay. So first and foremost, you need to come up with a key. So I'm going to do that right now. You guys will see that I made a key for all of my fossils, and that is what I'm going to represent them as on my map. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, based on my key that I just made, I am going to place these on my puzzle. So if I know that I am going to have this as one continent, I need to know, even though I understand that you probably have seen this symbol before and you know that the sword goes down the middle, we're going to pretend that we're an alien and we've never seen this symbol before. So I need to have some sort of representation that this goes with this, because this is going to be gray and then this is going to be a different color. So there's no association with it. So on my step-by-step, I show you how I'm going to represent them going together. So I'm going to put these remote bombs on one on this continent and then one on and the two on the sword continent, so that when my pieces are separated, such as right here, I know that this is going to be connected with this because it's got that blue, the blue representation. So I'm going to put a bomb here. Boop. And then two here. Boop. So that I know when these two are apart, that these will go together. So I'm going to do that for the rest of my Z's. And you want to do it to both. I have all of my fossils filled out right here. Obviously, I did this super quickly, so you will put a little bit more time, but for your theme, you could choose, I'm going to stick with the SpongeBob theme. You can do a butterfly net as one of the fossils. You could do a Krabby Patty as another fossil. You could do Gary the snail as a fossil. All of those different things as well. So, now that I have both of my maps looking the same, I want to color them so that they look nice. I'm going to do that off camera and then come back. Okay, so off camera, I went ahead and colored it. It's kind of hard to see on this. This is a super light peach, so it looks like I didn't color in the Z. But now what we need to do is we need to meet the requirement of one major landform. So what this could look like is it could be a mountain range, it could be a river, it could be a desert that goes across at least two of the little continents. So I'm going to make mine a river because I feel like that's pretty fitting for Hyrule. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, this is one continent, so I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to meander my way down through the hearts, the eyes, so I'm now into my second continent, and then I'm going to actually go ahead and bring it down into a third, and then even bring it over back into that second one right over here. And then I'm going to make the exact same river motion, maybe not exactly the same, but close enough. Whoa, that's not really what that, okay, so it is close enough. I know that was hard to see with this camera, but I'm working with what I got. So you can do a mountain range that extends multiple of your continents. You could do a desert. You could even make a canyon if you wanted to. So now what we are going to do is we have our Pangaea and we have one that we're going to cut up. We made our major landforms, and now what we need to do is we are going to take a piece of paper. You can take any piece of paper. If you want it to be colored, you can do that. If you don't have access to colored paper, if you want to color it or make it anything that you want, you can do that as well. So this is going to be my Pangaea piece. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to tape this onto my paper. And what you are going to do is you're going to name your world. So the world of Zelda is called Hyrule. So I'm going to go ahead and label my world, as well as I need to finish my key. So I'm going to take my key and I'm going to put the little river symbol and make sure that people know that that means that that is a river. And you can then, or if you did mountains, you can put your mountains on here. But I'm going to go ahead and cut mine out. And then I'm going to put it on the front with my Pangaea. Do-do-do. And I'm going to place it actually down here. I know this is a little crooked. That's going to bother me, but that's okay. Then what you need to do is, even though your continents are not broken up into 6 pieces, you still need to name them. So if you want to do it directly on the paper, you can. But I'm going to name it Hyrule, and then I'm going to come back with my continents already labeled. Okay, so I have all of my continents placed, slightly spread out, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the same continent names, which I named after the 4 divine beasts and then Calamity Ganon. So I'm going to do the same now, find the places and label them. But before I do that, we are going to, our last thing that we need to do is we need to label 4 bodies of water. So I have a river in mind, so that's going to equal one of them. If you did not do a river, you are going to just name different parts of the ocean or sea. So I came up with a couple of things. I came up with Zora Ocean, Necluda Sea, Akala Sea, and then the Hylia River, which I got off of the map of Zelda, except for the Zora Ocean because that's the water people, so I thought it was fitting. So everything else I got off the map. So if you're doing SpongeBob, you could do Chum Bucket Ocean, you could do Mrs. Puff Sea or something like that, etc. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to come back with it all labeled. Okay, kiddos, so here is the last piece. So this is my front is going to be where you have your world name, your Pangaea, your continents labeled. You have all 4 fossils and a landform running through your continent. Then we have our key down so that we know that what we are looking at for our fossils. And then we also have the back where we flip it over, and it's been millions of years, and the continent has broken apart and shifted across the world. So then we have our continents labeled. We have at least 4 of our bodies of water labeled, and we have all of our fossils on there because we already did that before. So what you guys are going to do is take a picture and submit it online under the Extraterrestrial Pangaea project. And I want this to be done by Monday, the 10th of May. And if you have an issue with that, or if you don't have, if you're going to be gone, please let me know so that I can plan accordingly. So have a good day. I can't wait to see what you make, and I will see you later.